Oh, okay. I could be going double. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. If you guys could see me in StreamYard through logging in, that'd be super dope. I don't know, but I managed to get back in here, and this has been crazy. So if you guys are on Facebook, if you guys can log into StreamYard.com/Facebook, we'll go through StreamYard.com/Facebook and get into your Facebook account. Then I could be able to see you guys over here. I know I see one viewer over there on StreamYard. I am super. Let me say this firstly. I apologize to my viewers and my listeners on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on my other Facebook page, and any other platform that I'm streaming from that I can't remember off the top of my head. I went live at 9 o'clock as scheduled, as I said, and was going in. I decided to invite my people. Thank you, April. And shout out to April Miller. Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I had no idea, people, that the folks overall on the other sites couldn't hear me. I'm going in. I'm going to town. I'm talking. I'm engaged. I'm getting people responding over Instagram world, and it's like, okay. I saw people coming in through StreamYard, but normally people make comments, and nobody was saying anything. And I thought, like, oh, they just listening tonight. That's what's up. I don't always need people to have to make comments until April. Shout out to April Miller. Until she said, is something wrong with the sound? And I'm like, oh, I looked at the microphone like, oh my God, I've been going 45 minutes in, and y'all didn't hear nothing I said over there. Only people heard me was over on Instagram. And my phone was getting ready to die right then and there. I said, really, Jesus? But guess what? We here right now. And I know that a lot of people are gone for the night, sleepy, tired, was like, girl, you said 9 o'clock. I go to bed at 10. I'm out. So my apologies. So let me get in where I fit in. And I want to share some things with you guys, because tonight's hot topic is ability versus availability. And we were talking and tapping into, you said laughing out loud, April. Yeah, I'm just apologetic, y'all, because I know time is not something we can get back. You know, for those of you that showed up at 9 o'clock like you do on my Tap In Tuesdays, I appreciate y'all. For those of you like my cousin Sharice all the way from Arkansas that's showing up right now, I appreciate you that's on my Facebook Live. If you want to share your questions and your comments, you do have to actually go through StreamYard.com/Facebook. That way I can see your questions and your comments. I think I can kind of see them over here this way too. I don't use my Facebook Live app because I do through StreamYard. So it's kind of weird to me. This is a new layout and I'm not familiar with it. So thank you, Cherie, for letting me know you could hear me and communicate, because I can't really see too much over there. So anyway, let's talk about availability and ability, okay? Knowing the difference. It's a thin line. It's a very thin line, but we have to know the difference. We need to learn how to set boundaries, okay? We have to learn how to set boundaries for people. And I was talking about that earlier. Like, I'm just about to kill this light because it's just like too much light. Okay, so anyway, we need to know how to set those boundaries, because people will cross over. And as I was saying, metaphorically speaking, of course, I was talking to the actually, I guess I was just talking to people in Instagram world, because none of y'all heard me. Nowhere else on any other platform, no one heard me. So I was talking about how we trust the white lines and yellow lines on the street to protect us, to keep us safe from oncoming traffic, people behind us, on the side of us when we're driving. We trust it. We trust those boundaries that's laid out on the road. A lot of times we hear about these tragic crashes and accidents because somebody crossed the boundary. And in life, when we're not careful, people will cross boundaries with you in your everyday life. They will. We have to learn to implement those boundaries. We have to learn when to be available, when not to be available. You can have the ability, but you have to learn to balance it out. And a lot of times in life, we struggle with that. We struggle with being available. We struggle with the balancing act. You struggle with work, family, personal life. you, self-care, all these other things. We allow ourselves to be available at the drop of a dime for people, even when we're not available. And I know that might not make no sense to some people, but I can't tell you how many conversations I've had in the last couple of weeks where people have really been venting like, I'm on the go and I'm always doing, go, 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 go. I don't have the time, but people always calling me, always needing something, always needing that, needing this. And I'm like, yeah, I can relate to that. But then I'm like, maybe we need to say no. I'm not available sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that. I know that some people might say, well, if you say I'm not available too many times, people will stop calling you. Let me be clear. You have to give yourself some you time. Let's go there. You have to give yourself some you time. It says what? All right, let me put some light. I guess you can't see me. What? You couldn't see me good? Okay. I saw that. Look, comment. So they're going to light. I put the light back on so you can see me well. Okay. So if you, as I was saying, you have to make sure that you give yourself some time. Okay. I was saying earlier, I have 3 calendars I fluctuate between and I make sure I try to cross check, right? All right. To make sure I'm balancing out my business, my podcast, my clients. All right. The people that potentially want to book me. I have to look at all these things, right? There's parameters, there's boundaries as well. Then I still have to balance it out with being a mother, being a wife, being a sister, being a daughter, an aunt, a friend, me, being just me. I got to carve out time for me. I haven't gotten my nails done in weeks, right? And I'm like, what? My anniversary is coming up. My 10th anniversary is coming up on June 2nd. Whoop, whoop. And so I'm like, yeah, this girl will be getting her nails done. I don't know where I'm going to figure it out, right? And so I'm like, but you got to make that time. I'm always on the go. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go tomorrow. Or I'm going to go next week. And then next week comes, tomorrow comes, and then you looking at your calendar like, oh, I got to do this for this person, do this for that person. But you're neglecting you. Often more than not. And we're burnt out. We become burnt out. March is Mental Health Awareness Month. Amongst every other thing, mental health is wealth. We say that, but do we know that? Do we know the difference in balancing ability and availability? You can be able to do a lot. Here's something, food for thought. God is not concerned if you have the ability to do anything. You know why he's not concerned? Because he will equip you to do whatever he needs you to do and wants you to do. What he is concerned is, do you have time for me? Okay. You know how you make that time for him, her, them, that, they, this, that, but you don't have time for God. And God says, wait a minute. So I gave you time. I gave you the skill set that people are requesting for you to give, but you don't have no time for me. And what I love about God is that God doesn't remove himself out of our lives when we say no, when we're disobedient. Now, he might smack us every now and then, remind us who he is, but he doesn't get out of our lives and walk away and leave us. Man will do that. Let somebody, no, I can't, I'm not available. First of all, they got attitude. You can't. Why you can't? If I say I can't, why are you questioning me? Right? Isn't that crazy? Like, you're a whole adult. And someone says, hey, can you do XYZ? I'm not available for that. I'm sorry, I'm not available. Or if you don't even say that, no, I can't. I'm not going to be able to do that. Why not? Okay, because I want to. I don't feel like it. I can't. I'm busy. Like, we're grown, okay? You can say no. And you have to learn when people say no, it's not disrespect. When people say not now, not right now, I'm not going to be able to right now, maybe later, I'll take that. I'm going to take it either way you say. If you say no, not right now, or, oh, you know what, thank you, but no thank you. I respect that. I'm good on it. I'm not like, now when I was a child, I felt like, why? And when you told me no, I would say, but why? I think all kids do that, right? But why? Or some kids, how come? Why not? You know, all these questions. But as adults, when you are an entrepreneur, when you're building your empire, your legacy, you're building your brand, you have to balance it out. You really have to learn to balance that out. You have to create those boundaries, ladies and gentlemen. Because if you don't, folks will drive you mad. They will drive you crazy. They will monopolize your time. I have a sticky note on my wall right now in my office. It says, don't let someone else's agenda become your agenda. It's on a sticky note. I don't know where I got that from, where I heard it, what made me think it. But I look at it from time to time and I remind myself, like, I have my own agenda, right? If I can help someone along their journey and help them with their agenda, I got you. But if you think that I'm going to allow your agenda to overshadow mine, no. Especially when I'm available to choose me first. Is that being selfish? No, it's not. You must choose yourself over everybody else. Because if you don't choose you, nobody else will choose you. You might say, girl, that ain't true. People choose me all the time. They choose you, but are they choosing you for you? Or are they choosing you for them? And if they're choosing you for them, then that means they have an agenda. And now you are a part of their agenda. And then their agenda becomes your agenda, right? That's why we have to be mindful. There's nothing wrong with supporting people. I support people all the time. And I love the people that support me. I even respect the people that don't support me. I still support people that don't support me. Now, talk about that. Now, that's something to talk about. I need to work on that, right? I be wanting to have the spirit of, you don't never support nothing I do, but you always want me to support what you do. And I do. And I still be wondering, like, why they don't never support me, but I'm always supporting them. But I don't stop supporting them. But I wonder it in my head. I be thinking to myself, like, I'm always supporting them, but they'll never support me. But guess what? I've learned some of them people, they don't support nobody else but them. They want everybody to support them, but they ain't got no time. See, they make themselves not available. They got the ability, but they've mastered, I'm not available. I'm not available to help you. I'm not available to support you. Oh, but I need you available to support me. And then people like myself, we hurry up to support them. Have you ever encountered somebody? Anybody want to be transparent out there? Have you ever encountered a person or people? You're always supporting their brand or their ventures or their goals or their dreams, but you can never get them to support what you do. I ain't saying call them out. I'm just saying, can you relate? Now, that's not rhetorical. If you feeling transparent enough and you want to share in the comments, and even if you want to share a situation, that's great, because I can name several of them. I won't call anybody to the carpet because I don't do that on social media. If that's necessary, then I'll let that person know or them people know. But I do feel like I do look at some people in my spiritual eye and say, you know what's funny? To myself, I have a self-talk, right? Because there ain't nothing wrong with self-talk as long as you don't talk back for yourself. Like you like Dr. Jackson or Mr. Hyde. You talking like that's like me talking to my poster, right? And then I'm answering for the poster. That's gonna be a no. So I do look and say, I wonder why. What is it about what I'm doing that you don't feel like you want to support me? We ain't even in the same game, right? We ain't even doing the same thing. Hell, I got podcasters that are on fire, like Rocky Harris, on fire. She's a beast. She will share my stuff. She'll shout me out. When I tell you I'm humbled by that, because Rocky is a beast and what she does, she's amazing. And she is who she is. I'm like, wow, thank you. Right? Jervis Canty, amazing podcaster. He's the one that got me for bringing the visuals to you guys. He was my mentor who got me started. And just like a lot of things, I was like, oh, no, I can't. I'm scared. And then just even doing podcasting, Courtney Benjamin, another person sewing in, believing, pouring in and said, hey, you need to do podcasts. You need to do this. You know, there's a lot. But there are people that find myself always supporting, that I realize they don't support me. And let me tell you something. I'm very sensitive right now in this season of my life, and I'm gonna tell you why. Ability versus availability. Okay, I'm going through a 31-day fast prayer challenge. Okay, it's not like any other one I've done in the last couple of years, because I've done several of them. So this is an unfamiliar one. This is not one that I get up and I have to go live, but I do have to rise up at 5 o'clock every morning, 5 a.m. every morning, to pray and fast and tarry on a couple things, different things, right? And it's not, I just knew, like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to go live at 5 o'clock. And God, like, no, this is for you. And I'm like, oh, like, I'm just doing it. Okay. And so also the request that I have asked you guys, like, if you want me to pray on something, add that in the morning, situation, circumstance. If you don't want to tell me, to say, hey, can you just cover me, cover this, cover that. I don't need to know questions. I'm a pretty good prayer warrior. All right. So I don't really need to know the deepness of whatever the situation, circumstance is. If you just ask me to pray, I go there. I don't need to know. Definitely. I don't have to know. If you want to share, because I'm not going to go share it with nobody else, but if you want to share, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. It's all good. But in the morning, when I rise at 5 a.m., it's kind of like I got something I'm doing, and I've been faithful. See, it's about being available, because I don't know if you know this or not. God is not worried about your ability. He knows exactly what you're capable of doing. He knows the ability because he gave you the ability. I know you think you did that. I know you did it all by yourself in your mind. You think it was all you. Oh, I just taught myself. The brain, the mind, the body is a beautiful instrument. It's a great gift. It's a tool. But yeah, you don't really, like your heartbeat. You think it's you that makes your heart beat? It is you, but do you think that it's you that makes your heart beat? Is it you that wake up and open your eyes and you have sight? You think you just open your eyes and you got sight? You did that. Or do you respect that there is a higher being? The God that gave you the ability to have the breath of life that we breathe every single day. Now, that's rhetorical. I'm not here for trying to sway you either way, but whatever your belief is, your belief, but it's just something to make you say, I know from where my help comes from. I know that God also will use your enemy to bless you, and your enemy will be looking at themselves like, why do I want to help them? I also know the adversary will send people to destroy you and send people to intervene and distract you from your purpose attached to you. Ability, availability. You can't be available for everybody all the time for everything. You cannot. See, you'll show up for man, but you won't show up for God. You won't show up for you. What was the saying going into 2022? Last year I showed up for you. It's 22. I'm showing up for me. You got to show up for you. You got to pull up on yourself. You're quick to pull up for somebody else, but do you pull up for you? Do you find value in self-care? Will you spend an amount of money on somebody because you care and love them, you want to celebrate them, but you have a fit when it's time to get your hair done or your hair cut or your nails done, or treat yourself to a new outfit, or buy yourself breakfast, lunch, or dinner, take yourself on a vacation, a girl's getaway, a fella's hangout. Do you grieve in your spirit when you do something for you? Do you feel guilty when you are available for you? Do you? Why? If you do, why do you struggle? My sister, my brother, why do you struggle with taking care of yourself? Being available for you first. And when I say first, I'm not saying before God, I'm saying before man. Because if you don't take care of you, who will? But the beautiful thing about that thought is, why do you need someone to take care of you when you're supposed to take care of you? You lead by example. You show by design. If you show that you take care of yourself, you respect yourself, people will know that you need to be taken care of and you need to be respected. If you are available for anything, everything, and everything, and everybody, whenever they feel they can call you, they don't look at your time as valuable and they don't value you. Again, what did I say earlier? Their agenda becomes your agenda. Then you are the agenda. Then you lose sight of your own agenda. Then you lack and you have no agenda. I know you thinking like, what? Some of y'all want to log off. Some of y'all probably rolling your eyes. Some of y'all like, girl, I ain't got time for this. Okay. What I always tell y'all, I'm here for that one. The one. It might not even be for that one. It could be for someone that's attached to that one. And yes, I came on at 9 o'clock, y'all. I was here at 9 o'clock like I'm supposed to be, but I didn't know my mic wasn't hot. So I'm going to town and I'm going in. I had technical difficulties prior to and some other things and manifested, but I still showed up. And yes, I'm tired. I should be ready to get ready for bed so I can get up and go to work, right? But I want to get the people what they deserve. I said, no, oh God, thanks to April Miller, I'm able to know that you didn't hear me. I had seen several people log on. It took one person just to say there's no sound early in the game. But yet, I did have Addie. Addie texted me, but I was going live for my Instagram, so I didn't have my phone accessible. So it was just like, oh, well, I didn't see that. I would have seen that message like, oh, you don't hear me, but I didn't know. But now I know. And so what did I say? I'm coming back at 10:10. Then what happened? StreamYard didn't let me. And I'm like, what's going on? It's like, you got to do 10 minutes later. I'm like, what? So then I tried to do 10 minutes. Okay, you got to do 10 minutes later. I'm like, what? I'm like, all right, listen, Linda. I'm like, okay, let me just go live from my Facebook. Even though I don't use this feature and it looks weird to me because it's a new feature, I'm like, I got to go live because I don't want these folks to think like, oh, what is she doing? What's going on? And then I figured it out and I'm able to go live. So now I'm live on Facebook, probably double looking crazy. But I'm also live over on Instagram. Nope, take that back. Not Instagram, on Twitter, LinkedIn, my YouTube page. And I'm going to snatch down all the other dead show air from earlier today. It was important for me to share ability versus availability because we struggle as a people. It's not just something TT struggles with. It's not just something that the queen said earlier on Instagram, Ronika, she said she struggles with balancing that with her work, availability, right? Not her ability, because she's more than able, but her availability. And I said, oh, wow, queen, slide on over and share your questions and comments. She went over there, I'm sure, but she didn't see and hear. And so she probably went back over in Instagram and just let me do me. So let me ask you this, and this is rhetorical. Do you feel that you are so gifted in what you do that you don't need anybody to help you? Like, I'm good at that. I don't need nobody to help me. Even the best, even the GOAT need an assistant or some assistance. Everybody don't need an assistant. Everybody can't afford an assistant. But everybody needs some assistance at some point in time in their life as they're building their brand, as they're building their legacy, as they're building their businesses, as they're prepping to step out on faith. But let me be clear. There's going to always be the people that's going to be there to be distractions. There's people with bricks of setback that's so happy to lay them down at your feet so that you can't cross over and make the journey steps towards greatness, which you were born to have and carry out attached to the purpose that was given to you at birth. We don't recognize how great we are, but we see greatness in others. Shout out to Terrence, who has the sign that's been around the world that says, I see greatness in you. He's been around the world. When you speak life into others, when you tell people how awesome they are, sometimes they don't know it. Sometimes they don't believe it. Sometimes they haven't heard it until you've said it, until you've shown it. Your skill set, your ability that God has given you, allowed you to have, that you use as a business tool, right? You're launching your business. People are hiring you. They're seeking you out. Keep it going. Don't let nobody monopolize all your time, keeping you to themselves. It's like you giving a child candy. A person, of course, their hand initially will be like this. Oh, yes. Would you like some? Yes, please. Thank you. And you give it to them. And then someone coming in like this. They don't want you to see what they got. They don't want to share. because they don't know when they're going to get some more. Only if they knew that would you like some? Here, yeah. Right? Someone else will see you sharing and say, you know what? He or she's not selfish. They're giving. I watched that person be blessed and they just gave away, and they ain't have nothing left. Let me share this. So now someone say, hey, you don't got no more? Nah, yeah, here, you want some more? Sure. If we look at life like that, how blessed would we be? See, God isn't concerned about your ability because, as I said earlier, he gives you the ability to do what he needs you to do, but he is concerned with your availability. You will show up for man. You won't show up for God. You'll give man your time, even the ones that's unworthy, that don't need your time, should not even get your time, but you give it to them. Just like I said earlier, and you could say, TT, you contradicting yourself. I could be at this moment, at this point. I could be contradicting myself when I say this. We support people's visions and their goals and their dreams because we believe in them. We have our own visions, our own goals, our own dreams, and we put them out into the atmosphere, hoping that someone will like what you're doing. Let me tell you something that was hurtful. It's no longer hurtful because I get it. I get it. I don't understand it, but I do get it. I used to be fascinated and feel some kind of way because of the lack of followers I had, or the lack of likes and thumb ups that I had, the lack of shares that I had. Until I started to notice, I could be walking through somewhere and somebody I might know that I don't think follows me or didn't know follows me, or, I didn't know. Hey, I heard what you said about so-and-so. So that was a great show. I'm like, oh, thank you. And when I walk off, I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't know you was on my page. 1, 2, you didn't like it, but you liked it. And then I realized people will watch you. Hey, people will watch you to mimic you. Now, we're supposed to encourage, empower, and inspire others. Why? Because we're gifted, we're talented, we have the ability. But I don't know why others don't feel they need to do the same for you, for us. I don't know. That's a question I've had with, a conversation, I should say, I've had with several folks. And they're like, yeah, sure, and I do, and I support, but nobody shares and supports or gives or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? Then I also stumbled upon something else, right? As I'm going through this 31-day fast and prayer. I'm very sensitive in the spirit, right? And I'm watching and I'm seeing with the naked eye as well as the spiritual eye. And some things have me like, So it was funny. I posted something the other night and it didn't really resonate with me the way it resonated with me today. Let me see if I can pull it up. I'm not going to, I want to see if you can hear it, but I'm not going to show the video. It's on my Instagram page. I don't think it came over to my Facebook. This is what this young lady said, and I used it as a reel because it was so motivating to me. It was motivating to me. Listen to this, if you can.
On my journey where I am making decisions for my happiness that don't make sense to anybody else around me. I am not looking for a high five, a word of encouragement. I'm not asking what you think about it. I'm just going to do it. So if you see me doing something out of character, or I'm acting brand new, or I'm on some new shit, just know it's about who I'm becoming and not about who I've been. It's about where I'm going and not where I was. And I don't want anybody to take it personal when this growth happens.
She's talking about growth, a growth mindset, having a mission for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. When we change and we evolve for the better, be happy. Now, I know I did some check-ins today, as a matter of fact, because I wanted to make sure I wasn't offending anyone, that I didn't hurt anyone, not knowing I did. Because I don't tend to hurt anybody. I don't tend to ever disrespect anybody, and I don't receive anybody disrespecting me. Okay. But if I see there's a breakdown somehow, I'm going to address it. If it's worth my time. Let me be clear. Because some people, you can just go on by your business. I'm good on you. Slow good on you. But I look and I'm like, well, there's a disconnect. And I want to know, like, hey. And then, but at the same time, God put it in my heart. And I had a moment of empatheticness today. And I shedded some tears because I realized in this lifetime, in this season of my life, that I got to cut some folks off. Not because I don't care for them or I don't like them or I don't love them, but it's that season. They don't need me. They don't need me. I've probably come as far as God wants me to go with them. And it's me, the worldly side of me, that wants to love and help and encourage and just, hey, what do you need? And I'm here. But if they're not checking for me, why am I checking for them all the time? If they're not trying to say, hey, let's do this, or hey, you want to, but I'm doing that. I'm that girl. I'm like, am I invading on their time? Am I invading in their space? Like Jesus, am I supposed to move on down the road like Highway to Heaven and Michael Landon? Michael Landon that played in Highway to Heaven. He did what he did in different towns and states, and he moved on down the highway. He was an angel. I'm not an angel. We already know it now. There are no angels on this earth. However, he helped people. He had the spirit of help and giving. I have the spirit of help and giving. Heck, I got an award for having a servant's heart. And I say that humbly because it was a shock to me. Not that I was like, what? Me? I got a good heart. And I love to serve people. I'm a people person. And I love to help people grow and expand. I don't like to be forgotten. Who does? I don't like to be manipulated. I don't like to be taken advantage of. Who does? And when I see it, I look and I be thinking how sad I am. Because I'm like, you don't have to act like that with me. You shouldn't act like that with me. But when I see it, I'm like, wow. And I move on. I'm like, well, it's time to go. And then the other part of that, availability, ability. When you make yourself available all the time, people don't respect your time. People don't expect, what did we talk about earlier? Boundaries. They don't respect it. They look at it like, oh, yeah, I can just, yeah, she ain't gonna say nothing. Or he ain't gonna say nothing. It's okay. Well, what about, yeah, don't worry about them. But that same person or those same people, why you call me so late? Or what were you thinking? I was with my family. That's family time. It's like, I don't got a family. Or I was, like I'm doing this, or I'm not. I was on vacation. I was this. I was that. You like, oh, you feel like you've been offended, but you also feel like you offended. So it's like, oh, you're like, okay, my bad. So it's kind of like you get that smack on the hand. You're like, oh, I'm sorry. Right? You find yourself apologizing, and you're like, oh, damn, I didn't know. That's because we're available at the drop of a dime. You can't allow people to have immediate access to you all the time. If you have work hours, have people respect your work hours. 5 heartbeats, Big Red. What'd he tell that man when he beat him down? My office hours is 9 to 5. As he swooped his hair out of his face. His office hours is 9 to 5. He meant that. You got to have boundaries. You may not have a brick and mortar office, but if you are someone who has numerous businesses, you are a family person, you have children or a spouse or significant other, whatever, you some you time. You have to say, yeah, I have my office hours, and I shut it down at whatever time. You can always reach me by email though. And if I'm available, I'll respond. For those of you that are workaholics, and I know several of you, you have to have a cutoff point. You have to stop checking emails because, folks, let me tell you, I'm one of these people. Oh, let me send that email, blah, 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 blah. Now, I did learn how to schedule from Google, right? You can schedule your email. So even though you're doing it at 2 o'clock in the morning, you ain't got necessary to send it at 2 o'clock in the morning. If you know that person hours is 9 to 5, 6 to 3, whatever, schedule it where it's first thing on their list, 9:01. Time to get in, get their cup of coffee, open up the windows, blah, blah, blah. I'm scheduled for 9:20. They said they should be about to check. You're making yourself able to respect their availability. And it's nothing wrong with you asking people to respect yours. But when you just make it like, oh, call me anytime. Don't say it if you don't mean it. Now, I tell certain people, if you need me, call me. Certain people. In certain situations, of course, if you need me, call me. You in a bind, call me. Right? You need me if I'm available. If I'm available, I'm there. Socializing, I try to make it everything I can. Right? I'm a networking fool. But I've had to learn to balance it. I can't go to everything, be everywhere for everybody. Because what I realized, and I told my husband this, I said, you basically only get 4 Fridays, 4 Saturdays, and 4 Sundays, maybe 5, depending on the month. Everybody's trying to do something on those same days. You're bidding for it. So basically, it's first come, first serve. First invite, yep. Oh, now already doing something. If you got dates, that's why I tell people, if you know in advance, like if you want to book me and you know you want to book me, I book out, right? I book out, and that's a blessing. I thank God for that. I book out, and I plan to continue to book out. I ask God to let me be booked where I'm like overbooked, where I can pick and choose, and God has been doing that. Woo, He's been doing that, and I thank the Lord for that. But that's by way of man. People say, hey, are you available on this date? And if you're booking me like to host something or something like that, like, okay, like anybody else, you need a deposit. Because I locked down that. A verbal don't mean nothing to me. We talking about it, but we ain't locked it down. So you're not going to hold me down verbally, and then it's just talk. Because a lot of people do that. Now, if you one of the people, but a lot of people do that. Oh, yeah. Are you available July 1st? For what? I'm going X, Y, Z. And you like, oh, yeah, I could do that. Okay, yeah. We're going to do X, Y, and Z on July 1st. So now you think like, okay, I'm going to make this money. I'm getting ready to do this on July 1. Bet. June 27th. All this time moving closer, you ain't got no information, right? If you ain't got no deposit, non-refundable, that's the key, non-refundable. Because that's going to listen, let's be serious. You're not booking me unless you're serious because you're giving me a deposit. I'm not putting a date in my calendar until I know for a fact. Unless you're somebody that I know without a doubt is going down, I'm not booking. I'm not telling you, I'm going to say at this time, and that's just the way I'm going to do it anyway. At this time, it's open. But money talk. I'm not in this to make friends. I'm in this to make a business. So I believe everybody else operating that same fashion. You go to a hotel, you can reserve a room, but you're gonna put a credit card on file when you arrive. They're going to hold something for incidentals. You're not booking a flight without paying in advance. And if you don't get insurance, you're not getting a refund. Now, airlines have been very kind, and they will let you change it over to a different date, but you're not getting money back. Oh, no, we're not doing that, right? So when you book somebody's time because they were available, they have the ability, and you didn't own up, then you are wasting their time, your time, and the next time you call upon them, they're going to be looking like, Also, balancing the two. Hungry for what you do, you got the right to be, my sister, my brother. You got the right to be passionate about the gifts that you have, your abilities. But you don't have the right to be available and people take advantage of you and you miss out on opportunities for yourself, as well as working with somebody who's seriously looking at utilizing your abilities. Now, can you recall a time where you felt like somebody nominated you for something and you weren't available? You have the ability, but you wasn't available. But you weren't available because you weren't available for you. You could have been unavailable for somebody who didn't even properly secure you. You get what I'm saying? Remember, we just talked about somebody calling you and saying, hey, if you're available for July 1, yeah. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah. Now, they talk a good game. You ain't got nothing in writing, no deposit. All you know is a verbal. And then somebody call you and say, hey, I'm doing sex, this, that, and situation and this whatever, and then you're like, oh yeah, oh, you know what? I already told so and so that I would do so and so. Yeah, I ain't gonna be able to do that. Oh, okay, well maybe next time, because you're loyal, right? I've done this and I'm not doing it anymore. I've learned my lesson the hard way, so I'm not telling you nothing I don't know. And then you reach out to that person or those people, yo, what's going on? Oh yeah, that fell through. We ain't gonna do it. So you like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. So you like, wait a minute. So you not? When did you just? Why you ain't call and tell me that? I forgot to call you. You forgot to call me. So then you call back the person or the people to say, hey, you still need somebody. Oh, you know what? We booked somebody. As soon as we found out you wasn't available, we had to move forward. See, people play with your time, but you're not playing with your time. But you give your time to people who play with your time. You got one time to do that. One time. And it's a wrap. We moving forward. I will talk about this. If I don't got nothing else coming up, I'll let you know. Okay, well, you know what? Right now it's good, but we'll see as we move forward. What I do as a courtesy, though, if I got somebody bidding for the same date, I call and say, yo, I got an inquiry for this date. Do you got something that's for sure happening? And at this point, if I got somebody bidding for the date, I'm going to need their deposit. Because guess what? I'm going to be steaming mad. And I probably would stop messing with you if you make me miss out on some money because you know you ain't 100%, but you trying to be safe. Don't play the safe game with me. Don't do it. And I'm going to advise you don't do it to other people. Don't play with people's time. If you can't secure someone, you might not have the monies for a deposit or whatever that looks like. Or some people don't take deposit. They need a full payment up front. I mean, whatever your thing is, let it be known. I don't have a deposit right now. I really want to have you on board for whatever. But if somebody else comes through and blah, 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 and I don't have the deposit or means to pay you when they're ready to give you something, I respect that. And be okay with that. We respect that more than we respect you jacking off our time. Real talk. Real talk about that. Balancing the act, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Let me say this. Oh, think about this. When was the last time you did something for somebody else without any expectations of them doing anything for you in return? On the other side of that, when is the last time somebody did something for you without any expectations on the other side of that? Now, that's rhetorical. Okay? I know that you've heard the song, He's Able. Right? What's the chorus? God is able to do what he said he would do. He's going to fulfill every promise to you. Don't give up on God because he won't give up on you. He's able. You're able. You have the ability. But do you always have the time? No. Should you always make yourself available? No. Should people have immediate access to you? No. Should you set boundaries? Yes. Yes. Is there something wrong with setting boundaries? No. Who should you put first? Outside of God? You. Why? Because if you don't take care of you, who will? Who will? Who's going to put you before them? Who? You shouldn't expect anybody to put you before them because nobody should expect you to put them before you. Real talk. You should care about your well-being mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You should. You have to learn to balance it out. March is Mental Health Awareness Month, right? Although we have to be concerned with our mental health 365 days a year, as I said earlier, 366 in a leap year. You got to be concerned mentally with your mental and your physical well-being all the time. You can't just run. If you drive your car and you don't stop at the gas station and you watching that needle go closer and closer to E, what's going to eventually happen? You're going to run out of gas. Your car going to stop going. I ain't about to go. What do you think this is? You're going to need to get us some gas. Now you got to be inconvenienced because you too far from a gas station, Or you may not have no money when you had a pocket full of money, but you being cheap, or you being economical, or you just saying, I do it tomorrow. Well, what if you can't get to it tomorrow? What if you need a full tank of gas? Like right now, you need to go and you ain't got no gas station open. You hit. Boundaries. Preparation. We need to tap into that and know that it's okay to do so. Real talk. Okay, now let me leave you with these 7 components of mental health. 1, in-person therapy. If you need to sit down and unpack or talk to somebody, there's nothing wrong with it. Don't let these people tell you it's anything wrong with getting counseling or having a session with someone, a therapist. It's nothing wrong with it. It's helping you to empower yourself. And sometimes we need to be encouraged by getting things off our chest. You might be that woman, that man, that boy, that girl that people always unpack on. Who do you unpack on? 2, community. It's a community effort. Surround yourself around people that's like-minded, like-spirited. Right? Winners circle themselves with winners. Losers tend to lose with other losers. You really don't see winners hanging out with losers, but you'll see losers hanging out with winners. Either that loser trying to become a winner, or that loser is sent there to be a distraction to make that winner a loser. Okay? Number 3, physical health, the body, the brain, right? We need them to successfully collide, work in unison together, right? Number 4, intellectual health. Ooh, stimulating conversation, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't nothing like having stimulating conversation, right? Read a good book. Watch a good movie that stimulates your brain, okay? We get so much negativity, so many things in the world that's not healthy for us mentally or emotionally, spiritually. Intellectual growth and stimulation is important, okay? Number 5, environmental health. Yes, your surroundings can make you ill. You living in a poverty area, it can make you ill. You living in a negative environment, it can make you ill. It can. You got to change your surroundings. Sometimes you got to change your circle because they'll make you ill. People will drive you mad. People will drive you crazy. And a lot of times I hate to say it, but it's true. I ain't the first to say it, and I'm the first to say it right now because I'm the only one to say it right now. But I'm not the first to admit it openly. Your family will drive you insane. Okay? Your friends will drive you insane. Because there's always this. And they see you going. And like, hey, and it's like, here we go. It's like, ugh. You weight it down with other people's crosses. They're not always yours to drag, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. People got to learn to drag their own cross. Bear their own raggedy cross. We all got to drag it. No one's coming to airlift nor catapult, put it on a horse, or tug it along for you. You must do that for yourself. And you'll be darn happy you did. Because no one could take that away from you. Your strength, your ability, unless you let them. Okay? Number 6, boundaries. Woo! We talked about that several times. I'm not going to stop talking about it. Boundaries, implement boundaries is important for growth. It's important for health reasons, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Boundaries. They are imperative to implement in your life, work life, personal life, professional life. It doesn't matter. In your family, in your friend circle, boundaries. Respect them. And if people got problems with your boundaries, dismiss them. Period. Some of y'all are going through hell because you don't want to hurt nobody. But damn, they're hurting you. They're hurting you. Who told you to make yourself a human sacrifice? That's rhetorical because some of you can't answer that question for yourself. So I don't want you to struggle and try to answer it for us. But it's something to think about. And number 7, but last and not least, is self-care. Now, let me tell you, that's the one that we struggle with the most, I think. Because we beat ourselves up when we do for ourselves. We grieve ourselves in our spirit. Oh, my God, I got to. And you feel guilty like, oh, I wouldn't have treated myself to lunch, breakfast, or dinner. And I didn't take the family back nothing. I didn't get nobody nothing. I wonder what they going to eat. If they're hungry, they're going to eat. Okay? If they're thirsty, they're going to drink. If they're hot, they're going to cool themselves down to the best of their ability. They're not waiting for you. Self-care. Get your hair done. Get your hair cut. Get your mani, your pedi, whatever. Take a vacation. Get a massage. Go see a movie by yourself. Take a walk. Take a bike ride. Take a jog. Go to a museum. Do something different that makes you smile, that gives you joy. Hell, that gives you peace. We live in a world that's so discombobulated, it's unreal. But it's the reality that we live in. We can't hide from it, and we can't lie to ourselves. And we can't continue to allow people to lie to us. You have to own your truth, walk in your purpose. And some of us gonna struggle. But guess what? Every day is a struggle. You're gonna have some type of struggle every day you rise. Some type of struggle. It can be minute or it can be huge. But it's all about what you choose to do with that. And when you try to go into that sunken place, you got to learn to make yourself unavailable for it. You got the ability. Tap in. Yeah, if you're feeling sad, mad, pissed, whatever, acknowledge how you're feeling. I'm not saying pretend you don't, because now we're going into the imposter syndrome. But go into, damn, I'm sad. This makes me very displeased. I'm very upset. I'm very excited. Hold it. Tap into it. And when it's not positive and it's not for your betterment, let it go. Easier said than done, TT, because you don't know my story. We all got a story, boo-boo. But we all got to rise up. We can't allow ourselves to fall into these ditches of life that we're gonna encounter every day of our lives. We're gonna walk across landmines in the spirit and the physical. They're not gonna blow you up like in the military, like in a war, but they will blow your mind. They will hurt you to your core. People will hurt you to your core. They will backstab you. They will manipulate you. They will try to mimic you. But let me be clear. You can encourage somebody, motivate somebody, inspire somebody. But it ain't nothing worse than an imposter trying to be you. There's only one you. There's only one me. Nobody wants to be TT. Nobody should want to be you either. But they can say, you know what? I'm really inspired by Lisa. I'm really motivated. I'm really motivated by Eric. I really was encouraged by Mona. And it made me want to do something different. It encouraged you. It motivated you. When I do my podcast shows, I try to bring guests that's going to empower, encourage, inspire, and motivate. Educate, of course, in some facet or form. I bring on people that's amazing because I believe my viewers and my listeners are amazing people. You deserve nothing less. That's why I come here. This platform ain't for me. Hell, I can talk to myself. It's not really healthy, but I could, right? I could have just conversations and kick it with my people, but I feel like we all need some encouragement. We all need some motivation. I don't know nobody that don't need that. Holy fence. I know that's right, Addie. That's right. But we all could use that. We all need that. Each one reach one, teach one. But don't one try to take from others. Don't try to knock somebody down off of the ladder that they're climbing to their success. Because let me be clear. The same steps that you're stopping someone else from taking, you'll miss them steps. I'm not going to say somebody going to stop you. You'll miss it. You'll wonder why you're tripping. You'll wonder why you're falling. It's enough for us all in this world. We all have goals and dreams and ambitions. And if you don't, I'm sad. Because you are equipped to do some amazing things in this life, and you're cheating yourself and you're cheating the rest of us who are waiting for the next great thing that you probably have to give to us. Don't be selfish. Share your gift and your ability. But let me be clear. Don't make yourself available all the time. Be inaccessible within reason. If you have hours of operations, stick to it. Even if you're working late and burning the midnight hour, that does not mean that you have to answer a call, a text, or email. You're working to get something done so it don't spill into the next day or whatever that looks like for you. That's your time. Embrace it. Know that it's important for you to have it for you. People will monopolize your time. And as I said about the sticky note on my wall, Don't let other people's agendas become your agenda. Because if you do, their agenda becomes your agenda. You lose sight of your agenda. Period. That's right. Oh, Addie, that's right. Let your gift make room for you. I say that all the time. I say that all the time. Whenever I'm doing a show with somebody, my guest or something, if they want to leave somebody with some words or whatever, I always say, your gift will make room for you. I believe that. I'm living proof that your gift will make room for you. There was a time in my life, not any longer, thank you, Jesus, but there was a time in my life where I was always available. Even when I wasn't available, I was available. I don't want them to have to call nobody else. Let me hurry up and be available. I don't want to turn them down too many times and they might not call me. But when you a goat in your own all, we're all, I ain't say some of y'all, I said we're all, A-L-L, a small word with a big meaning. We're all a goat in some fashion or form in our own lives. You have to be the greatest of all time in your own life. You could call another man or woman, oh, that's the goat. She the goat. He the goat. What about you? You ain't a goat? But I bet you this, you probably a goat to somebody. Someone's looking at you as the goat, and you might not even know it. You may not even recognize it. But I'm here to remind you. My God, you passed it down to little sis over here. Hallelujah, Addie. Beautiful person. Prime example, A&B Fashionista. Okay? You're not familiar, look them up. Okay? Addie and Brittany are two sisters that are building a legacy and an empire. And they empower women and men, people. They're opening doors for people because they want to. They could just simply do it for themselves, but they do it because they have the ability. And they do it when they're available. You heard that? They do it because they have the ability, and they do it when they're available. They encourage and inspire other people to step out, and people are doing it. Some people are moving. You know, you can see the molding, right? You can see the blueprint, but every building, even if it's the same type of house that was built, it has a different blueprint. It's important to have your own blueprint. Don't build the same house I got. Be encouraged and motivated by the house I got and say, damn, I like that. I'm about to build me something similar because I was encouraged, motivated, and inspired by that one. That's a compliment to people when they see you doing what they do. Even a bigger compliment when you ask them how they did it. Because let me be clear about something else as I leave you tonight. You can teach somebody everything you know. I mean everything. But they will never do it like you. That ain't saying it from a haughty spirit. That's what I know. I've learned from some of the best people in the business that I've had access to. And that I've had access to. I'm a sponge. I'm always learning, and I'm a listener. Not an eavesdropper. I'm a listener. If you're talking and you're speeching and you're teaching, I'm listening. Right? I'm listening because I want to learn. You learn by hearing and doing. Right? But no matter how much I've learned from those people that I consider goats, I'll never be them, and I don't want to be them. But I do hope that they are proud of who they see when they see me doing what I do. Because I give homage, I pay homage to those who taught me, because they taught me well. And I, in turn, teach others. I'm not afraid to teach anybody anything. If they want to learn, hey, let's go. Let's go. I'm not concerned like, oh, well, why are you going to teach somebody to do what you're going to do? They're going to take your spot. I don't feel like that. And if they do, then okay. If I taught them and they became greater than me, that's a what do you call that? That is a compliment to me. I mean, I taught them well. I'm not gonna be like, well, they wouldn't be there if it wasn't for me. I don't gotta tell nobody that. I know, they know, we know. If they want to say something, great. I'm sure the people that taught me don't need me to tell people, oh, I learned this from so-and-so and da-da-da. But I'm sure that they take it as a compliment when somebody say, yeah, TT said she learned that from you and from, been around and blah, blah, blah. I see these people, they're like, oh yeah, I've worked with TT, and that's what it's about: learning, growing, showing, and knowing. So with that note, join me for next Tap In Tuesday. We will be on time. Um, that show, I think, is going to start early. Next week, instead of going 9 o'clock, I think I'm going to start at 8 o'clock. We're talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion behind the walls of a school system. I'm going to have several amazing guests. I'm going to have Dr. Lanisa Freeman. She's the Director of Special Education. I'm going to have Mrs. Darnisha Calvin. She's a counselor, clinical therapist. I'm going to have Miss Kelly Kuhn. She's the president and CEO from MNA, Michigan Non-Profit Association. She's an expert on diversity, equity, inclusion. I'm going to have Rena Risper. She is the CEO of Black Citizen Press. She's a journalist. She's the owner of a Black newspaper, right? I'm going to have Mr. William Tandy. He's an administrator from a school district. I'm also going to have Carissa Peterson. She's an administrator from a school district. I'm also possibly going to have Dr. Laura Striffler again from Fort Myers, Florida. She's a clinical therapist. I think I'm missing one other person. Ooh. Yeah, I think I am. I feel like I am. Ooh, because I was rambling off. I think I am. But it's going to be an amazing show. We're going to talk about that. Diversity, equity, and inclusion behind the walls of a school. If you are an educator, if you are a parent of children that's in the school system, and you want to know more about diversity, equity, and inclusion, this is a show you don't want to miss next Tuesday for Tap In Tuesday. And then for Wind Down Wednesday, I'll have an amazing show. You can also, if you've got Spotify, Anchor.fm, Apple Podcasts, I'm doing another version of Ability versus Availability tomorrow night at 9 p.m. It's a show you don't want to miss. So it's been my pleasure. I hope that you have heard something that has empowered you, encouraged you, or motivated you on tonight. That means that I did part of my job if you did. For all of you guys over there in StreamYard, Facebook, Instagram, earlier, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, thank you so much for coming back and joining me. If you're just tapping in, go back to the top of the show. I appreciate you guys. And if you're on my Facebook Live over there, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to read this last comment from Addie. My God, if my red brick at least makes your blue, or at least a different pattern, Jesus Christ, take the meat and leave the bone. Look at you, girl. What? I tell you on fire, Addie. But that's what's up. And bless you too, Queen. So you guys have a wonderful night. Be blessed. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Salute to you guys over there. I will see you guys soon.